In this video, I'm going to explain 10 must-know terms for acting auditions that every beginner actor should know, so you walk into your next audition feeling confident and prepared.
What?
Alright, before we jump into it, make sure to stick around until the end of the video because I have a free download for you today. At the end, I'll tell you how to get that. Also, if we don't cover a term that you're wondering about, just let us know in the comments what that term is, and we'll be happy to provide a definition for it. All right, our first term is breakdown. Breakdown is what you will see on the casting websites. If you're on Actors Access or Backstage or wherever, you'll see a breakdown of different characters. A breakdown is that detailed description of that role. It may say the character traits, the gender, the race, the age range, just anything specific that the casting director or the director is looking for as far as the demographics on a character. Also, why does that matter? Well, understanding that breakdown will help you know if you're a good fit for that specific role, because if you're not a good fit for that role, you do not need to submit for a role where you're not a good fit. A lot of people really try to oh, I want to make sure and try to get this role. And if it's not a good fit, don't submit for it. Bonus tip on this, carefully read the breakdown for any special instructions or details that can help you to stand out in your submission when you submit to audition for that character. All right, term number 2, sides. What are sides? Sides are a selection of the script that's given to you for your audition. So the casting director will send you the sides, and that will be the part that you will be reading for your audition. They are used to evaluate how well you understand and interpret that character. So those are your lines, obviously, for the audition, but what they're used for is to evaluate, like I said, are you understanding and interpreting that character in a way that the casting director sees. Also, don't be afraid to highlight, mark up your sides when you're getting ready for an audition. That way you can note any emotions or actions, just to kind of help give you a stronger delivery. All right, our third term is slate. Slate is a introduction where you'll give your name, agency if you have one, the role you're auditioning for, typically your location and height. But the casting director will typically tell you what they want. They may say, just give us a slate, but typically they're going to tell you exactly what they want in that slate, because that's going to be just a little bit different for each one. And that's your opportunity also. Make sure to smile, show them your personality. It's your first impression, so you need it to be a good one. And practice it, just sit home, practice that in the mirror till it feels natural, effortless. That's going to set the tone for the rest of your audition. All right, our next term is cold read. A cold read just means that you'll perform your sides or script without having the chance to prepare. So what has happened before with that is I might show up, do an audition, and they're like, you know what, I really see him in another character. They'll say, hey, read for this character, and they'll hand you the sides. Obviously, you're going to have to glance at them. That's a cold read. It does test your ability to think on your feet, kind of quickly make some strong choices. Don't worry about being perfect on that. They know they just handed them to you. They know that's a cold read. So you can just kind of glance at it and just make a few bold choices that kind of showcase you understanding that character. So that is always a lot of fun. So, all right, the next term is mark. A mark is a designated spot where you're going to stand or move during the scene. So why it's crucial? Hitting your mark is going to ensure that you're in the right position for the camera and lighting. So very important during filming, but also typically they will give you a mark or tell you where to stand during auditions. If not, yeah, just stand in front. I mean, it's going to be typically pretty obvious, but and of course, if you're filming a scene, glance down at your mark before you start, just to make a mental note of where that is in relationship to the camera. All right, the next term is blocking. Blocking refers to the physical movements that you'll perform during a scene. So that'll be your performance. Don't overthink it. Just make sure that you hit your mark, and you stay in frame. That's again, when you're on set, you're going to make sure when they're filming that you're staying in frame. They'll definitely let you know if you do not, but for an audition, you don't want to necessarily go all over the place. So they may tell you to do a movement of some kind, but hey, don't, you're picking up a cup of coffee to drink during the scene. You're reading a book during the scene. You're throwing something during the scene. But if you're unsure about any blocking direction, just ask for clarification. That's going to show them, hey, you're attentive, you're focused on what you're doing. That's not going to be a problem. If you are finding this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more valuable content for actors in the future.
Don't forget to subscribe.
All right, our next term, off book. Off book just means that you've memorized your lines and you don't need to refer to the sides or the script. Definitely be off book for your auditions. It is not hard. Even if, down the road you have all this stuff you have to learn, you're going to have plenty of time. So every blue moon, you will get an audition and be like, hey, this needs to be back in a couple hours. The casting director knows it has to be back in a couple hours. So take it, read it 20, 30, 40 times. You're going to have time to read through that real quick and read through it multiple times. Then you can focus on your performance. That's why you want to get off book. Once you've memorized your lines completely, you're not having to think about what you're going to say. You can think about how you're going to perform that, what emotion you're going to deliver that with, what actions you're going to do. So best way to do that, record yourself delivering those lines. Listen to that back. That'll kind of help solidify that memorization, and it'll improve your delivery of the performance. Our next term is beat. A beat is a pause or a shift in your emotions or intentions in that scene. So the casting director, for example, may say, after delivery of that first line, take 1 or 2 beats and then do blah, blah, blah. So they're just telling you to take 1 or 2 seconds and you're going to be changing emotions, reacting to something different in the scene. So using these beats effectively, it can just add layers to your performance. It just really gives a lot of life to your performance. So, but a beat, just kind of a pause or shift. You can interchange it with the word seconds, but it's typically used not just to slow down, but for the emotional or change or the reaction. All right, number 9 is reader. A reader is a person who reads the other character's lines in the scenes with you. So they will not be necessarily acting the lines out, but this, treat it like a real conversation. You're going to maintain good eye contact with them, react naturally to their lines, because this is your performance. So if you're doing the audition, typically if you're going into an audition, they're going to have a reader there if you're doing one in person. And I highly recommend, if you are doing a self-tape, that you do that as well, that you see if you have to find a friend or a family member to do it. But, ideally you're going to want someone else who is either in an acting group with you, or, if you're friends with another actor, that's ideal, because maybe you guys can read for each other when you have auditions. But, a reader's always very, very helpful. All right, and our last term is callback. A callback is when you're asked to audition again after the initial audition. So you're going to use the feedback and adjustments given to you from your first audition to show growth and versatility in this second audition. So we all want to get the callback. That's a great thing. A tip for that: wear the same outfit you wore during the first audition, unless the casting director tells you to wear something different. That just kind of helps them remember who you are. There was something they liked about your performance. You may have looked a lot like the character that they envisioned, or you may have said something that they envisioned. But you also want to show them that you can grow the character and have versatility with that character. So just take that feedback and stuff the casting director gave you and just make sure and implement that in your callback. All right, and as promised, your free download today, the 10 must-know terms for acting auditions. You can get those emailed to you for free. I made a PDF of all 10 terms that we just talked about, and I can email that to you. All you'll do is click down in the description below. You'll click on a link that I have and have your email address, and enter it in. I'll email it over to you from walthollisacting@gmail.com will be the email it's coming from, and you will get all 10 of those. That way you can review those again at your convenience. You'll have them whenever you need them on a free PDF. All right, if you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me to create more free content to help actors like you. And don't forget to click on the link below, get your free download from all 10 tips today. That way you have a PDF of that, and y'all break a leg, and we'll see you in the movies.